Temperatures in the Louisville area have taken their toll today. Power is still out in some parts of Jefferson County. A number of school systems have already announced they'll be closed tomorrow. Families have been left homeless by house fires, and early this morning, a blaze destroyed one of this area's largest churches. 32 Alive's Brian Trowering has that story.
The hot flames engulfing St. Matthew's Baptist Church contrasted sharply with the bitter cold air. When the first alarm was sounded on this fire, the wind chill factor was nearly 50 below zero. Assistant Fire Chief Albert Pichetti told me they did all they could.
We had a sanctuary of the St. Matthew's Baptist Church totally involved when the first companies arrived. Fire was coming through the roof, and we concentrated our efforts on confining the fire to the sanctuary and keeping it out of the education space, which we were able to do. The church itself is a total loss, but the education property and the recreation property is in good shape.
Investigators say they don't know yet what caused the fire, but they're looking into it. Some neighbors say they heard an explosion just before the fire began. Doris Lynch first noticed it when she heard the sirens.
It was blazing. It was in full swing then. And then it spread over here. And sparks were firing everywhere, flying. So we got dressed, thought maybe we might have to get out.
But no residents had to leave. In fact, some helped by providing hot coffee to the shivering firefighters. Some of the men suffered minor frostbite at the scene, but none had to be taken to the hospital. About the time the three-alarm fire was brought under control, a church service was scheduled to start here. 1,400 people were expected to attend, among them Church Deacon H.C. Baker.
There's a lot of love, there's a lot of memories, but we'll keep going.
Brian Trowering, 32 Alive News.
The congregation of the St. Matthew's Baptist Church did have a worship service this morning. Members filled the chapel at the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary, which offered its facilities, as did other Louisville churches. The mood of the minister and the worshipers was optimistic in spite of the loss. Reverend Altus Newell told his members that there is an opportunity in adversity.
We're just grateful for what is left. How bad is it? I don't know that I can answer that, because I'm not really seeing it at this point in that perspective. I think the Lord has given us an opportunity to come together as a church to sense that something very tragic has happened, but that He has real purpose for our ministry, and not just when we restore facilities, but right now.
Plans will be made this week on rebuilding the church, which has been at its present site since 1948. Meanwhile, the congregation will probably continue to hold Sunday services at the seminary chapel. A family of...
And begin their probe into the cause of the fire at the St. Matthew's Baptist Church. Norm Ewell has more on that story.
The fire, which broke out around 6:30 Sunday morning, destroyed the church sanctuary, but the education building was spared. Good testimony to the effectiveness of fire doors. The fire department is still keeping a crew on the scene to look for and douse hot spots, which still remain, but extreme temperatures have delayed the arson inspector's investigation. The inspection would expose the investigators to extreme temperatures for a long period of time. There's also the danger of unsteady walls, and the fact that most of the rubble inspectors would sift through is still buried in thick ice, so they'll wait for warmer temperatures. Although the education building wasn't burned, it collected a lot of water, so there was plenty of work for church members who showed up to help.
One was to secure our educational area, and that's been done. We have things inventoried and under lock and key now. We got the water off of our gym floor, and we're still trying to keep that dry from some additional moisture coming in. Third, we're trying to pump more water that's been in our basement to keep that out tonight so it won't freeze, do any damage to the walls.
The next step is getting heat restored in the education building so that preschool daycare can resume. The church offices have been moved down the street to a house where Sunday school class usually meets. Church members pulling together quickly got the job done. The church is still here, even though the building isn't. The members are here to clean up today, and they'll stay here to rebuild. At St. Matthew's Baptist Church, Norm Ewell, Newswatch 3.
When the temperature stands, arson investigators have arrested 2 people now in connection with the weekend fire that gutted the sanctuary of the St. Matthew's Baptist Church. They have charged 20-year-old Warren Emmerich with torching the church and a number of other crimes. They've also arrested a 17-year-old neighbor, charging him with a pair of burglaries. At the fire scene late today, I found a lot of work going on to preserve what is left there. The demolition crew was not the only team at work here. Throughout the day, Louisville firefighters kept stopping by to pick up their ice-clogged hoses left behind Sunday. And spectators braved the chill to catch a glimpse of the effort or freeze one on film. But it was that 100-foot crane and its wrecking ball that took center stage. This is pretty much a wrecking ball's eye view of the damage. And what the crews are taking down today is really just preliminary and just for safety's sake, knocking down the loose edges, things that might come down by themselves. They're not sure here at the church how much of this sanctuary can be used to form the basis for a new one.
We've made studies on what would be the structural weaknesses when the demolition started to get some of the walls that were about to fall and to keep the stress from spreading, and so we stabilized those areas that the engineers told us we should.
When you look up at that building, can you see it being rebuilt?
Yes, because we've been doing this for a number of years. I can picture it, but admittedly it is hard.